You know that with great power comes great responsibility. Despite what everybody thinks, it wasn't Spider-Man. It was actually Ericlipides. He was the first doctor of healing. And in healthcare, that's what it is. You've got great power to do it, but you've got to be responsible the way you handle it. No matter what people argue, whether they turn the tide of COVID or whatever, it turned the tide for me. It turned the tide for my staff. It turned the tide for my family. I mean, we gave them hope.
A human being is extraordinary, a perfect machine that can achieve it all. But a South African, now we are exceptional. We have broken boundaries. We have fought for freedom. Just like you, Profmed is proudly South African and stands behind each professional striving to make a difference. Welcome back to the 2024 season of the We Are South African series brought to you by Profmed. My name is Brendan DQ. They call me the good things guy. We're traveling around the country meeting incredible South Africans, and today we're going to meet a superhero, Dr. Chetty, a life-saving doctor.
I tell this to the medical students that I train, is that it's almost like falling in love. And you really only fall in love when you meet that person for the first time and you look in their eyes or you have that interaction and you're like, no, like, I'm in love. And for me, it was walking into a theater knowing that I wanted to be a surgeon.
2020 hits, and all of a sudden, the whole world sort of lost balance.
You know, it wasn't Spider-Man that says it. You know, that with great power comes great responsibility. Despite what everybody thinks, it wasn't Spider-Man. It was actually Ericlipides. He was the first doctor of healing. And in healthcare, that's what it is. You've got great power to do it, but you've got to be responsible the way you handle it. That second wave that hit Durban specifically was in December. The numbers that were coming through were shocking. And the biggest problem was we didn't have beds. So we didn't have the facilities to handle that wave. It was just a cataclysmic wave because it hit us so quickly. And it was that period specifically where I'd walked into the office and I was looking down at the street and I could just see queues of people. Some of them were just lying there, like literally on the side of the street, holding their chest, trying to get oxygen in. It was at that point that I thought, what can we do? Why did I join healthcare? I joined healthcare because my biggest fear is being helpless. At that situation, I felt helpless. We couldn't do our elective cases where most of us get most of our work. So in essence, if we weren't doing many theatre cases, the theatre staff weren't working either. So basically what we decided to do was take the dormant areas in the hospital. We needed staff, we needed somewhere to do it, and we needed the equipment. So the equipment is easy. I mean, I gave a call to the Gift of the Givers. They came through and they donated a whole lot of ventilators for us. They dropped off like about 200 of that in the space of like 5 hours. My hospital had a specific ward that was designed for respiratory infections. And we used it for TB and MDR, but because of COVID, that ward was completely empty. It all fell into place that we had this ward, this state-of-the-art ward in which we could admit patients to. The theatre nurses, the staff and things, it was a voluntary process. Yes, it's going to be dangerous. Yes, we're going to do our best to protect everyone, but people need help. And are we willing to help? Not one of them said no. Everybody stood up to be counted. We had a full theatre staff, we had a full nursing staff, we had a full clinical staff. Till today, it still sends shivers, and I still cry about it when I think how people just really came out to help, because I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting that support.
But what about you and your team? How did you cope with that mental stress?
Yeah, you know, I don't think we really have ever gotten over of what we've been through. It was a very, very difficult time, but the thing is that as long as we were together, as long as everybody was on the same page, as long as everybody was talking to each other, we sort of gained strength from each other. No matter what people argue, whether they turn the tide of COVID or whatever, it turned the tide for me. It turned the tide for my staff. It turned the tide for my family. We gave them hope. Look at what's happening currently in the world. It's not right. We've never been more divided since World War II. I mean, all this conflict, all this anger, but yet we don't remember just 2-3 years ago, we were all standing, fighting one common goal, just for survival. The minute people found out that the hospital was open and that we were able to make a plan, then basically we admitted about close to maybe 100, 200 patients coming through the place. And from COVID till now, I lost many colleagues. I lost family. I lost friends. I nearly lost my father. I myself had COVID 5 times. I was sitting at home for about 12, 13 days, just coughing my lungs out. Kids were sick as well. But on the flip side, we were able to save a lot. We were able to return people back to their families. Remember how it wasn't one bullet that got fired, but the amount of people that died. And the fact that we beat that. Beat that with community, we beat that as a collective, we beat it as a population on this planet. We were able to open up models of the same unit that was happening at City, all the other hospitals, so Isipingo, Durdok, which is just up further in central Durban, Richards Bay, and our Rabomed hospitals. So we were able to open up these units and basically create the model.
How long have you been a Profmed member?
Oh, gee, from the time I qualified, so it would have been about 20 years now.
And what was the reason that you went with Profmed 20 years ago?
Well, look, they offer insurances to professionals, but also they're a professional unit. So I've never had an issue with them as a user or as a provider, because I really do just get a wonderful service with them. I mean, the honest to God truth is, it's a doctor speaking to a doctor and they've never given me a problem.
So we speak about it takes a village, and your village are a group of superheroes. I know you called yourself and you said you're not superheroes, you're just doing your job. But really, in the eyes of me, I believe that all of you are superheroes, and you are surrounded by an incredible team of superheroes.
Sometimes when I walk through City, or if I meet somebody who was in that ICU, especially the staff, they sometimes see me and it's almost like our eyes meet, and we remember that time. One voice, one hand, one goal. You've got to have people around you, and you've got to have people that are going to be your structure, your bricks in that wall that'll hold your house up. And my nurses, right down to every single one of them, I remember them, I know them, I'm always looking out for them. I am their greatest supporter and their greatest advocate.
You also have a fantastic team at home that are propping you up and giving you all the love and helping you with your mental health as well.
Yeah, they just helped with my mental health from the beginning. So every time I used to come home, I used to always develop these scars across my thing. I think I still have them now. And just getting a hug from my daughter, because we couldn't hug, we couldn't touch each other. So I had to leave all my scrubs and stuff outside, which is still a rule now. And the minute I come out that shower, I got this hug from my daughter. And then, my son would give me a high five, She would put cream on my face to moisturize, because she didn't want dad's nose to be dry all the time. My son would just sit there and just constantly talk to me. We'd build Lego. And he could see I was under a lot of stress. And my wife was just my biggest support. I mean, she literally made sure she would send food, she would send coffee, she would send everything. She would make sure, she allowed me the time away from home to give my time to my patients, my friends, my family, and most of all, that unit. And that's the kind of person, and that's the kind of support that you need if you're going to go through something like this.
Another inspirational We Are South African story. Dr. Chetty and his team showcase resilience, humanity, teamwork, and a lasting legacy. Just absolutely incredible. Join us next time when we bring you another We Are South African story.